guys, Angie Bell with My Fairy Treasures. Okay, I'm back. All right, so we left off, this is all dry now. If you don't know how we got to this part, go back to parts 1 and 2 and you will be all caught up. So you're never behind, just go to the video before this one and you'll be all caught up. Okay, we're gonna gesso this. We're gonna gesso this for 2 reasons. One, to kind of set this in the background because it's the background, right? Also, so we can add paint on top of this. Gives us enough tooth to add paint. So I have out I don't use gesso, I use a thing called Kilz, K-I-L-T-Z, which I've said a million times to you guys, but there's always new people. So I always keep repeating some of my same things because new people are always coming in, and I like everyone to know tips and tricks. You can buy Kilz, K-I-L-T-Z. Like I said, you can use it as your gesso. And you get it at Home Depot or where else? Walmart, Lowe's. You can buy a gallon of it for like 15 bucks. So how much cheaper is that than buying gesso? It's a wall primer. So it's basically gesso. Okay, so I'm going to wet my brush, then dip my brush into the gesso. And the reason I wet it first is so that I can keep I'm going to call it gesso even though it's Kilz, to keep the Kilz very translucent so you can see through it. Because I don't want it to get, I want to still see all this yumminess through it. I also want to do a page where I add gesso lightly like this, but then I just throw acrylic paint on here and then scrape the acrylic paint off. So you cover up a little bit more than you do with the techniques I like to do most of the time, but that's also another cool technique. So I'm going to do that pretty soon here. So you cover up a lot, but you still see bits and pieces here and there. And it creates a whole nother style, so we'll play with that too. This is my favorite style, but I like to do different things. All right, that's coming. Okay, no, that's good. Okay, there. Okay, so we need to, let me put this brush in the water, put my gesso away, or my Kilz, K-I-L-T-Z, for those who want to buy that. Let's blow dry. So if you don't want to hear my blow dryer, just fast forward. But I gotta blow dry this dry. So we have that all dried. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make marks. You can make marks with stencils, stamps, but remember I told you we're going to do it with household items. So I have some bubble wrap. We're going to do that. Let me get some acrylic paints down on here. I don't know if I'm going to use that paint. I'm not going to use that one. Okay, so these are just our cheap 50 cents, 75 cents acrylic paints. Okay, that one's a little stuffed. Let's just open it up. Go like this. Okay. Probably too much. Okay, and then this Pizzazz purple, I love it. This is called Purple Pizzazz. This is actually Americana, and it's not that cheap, but it's like $1.99, so it's still not that expensive if you want this color. It's by Americana. I think it's so pretty. Okay, so we got all of our paints. I'm going to put those over on the side. Let's start making marks. We'll start with this purple. And I have a piece of paper over here on the side that I'm kind of dabbing off a little bit. So we're just making marks, right? Okay. And now this is a shelf liner that I got at Dollar Tree. You may even have some shelf liner that you're lining your shelves with, and you cut a little corner off of it. Do that. I have tons of shelf liner in my craft room because I like to make, believe it or not, you can make flowers with shelf liner. Like how you make fabric flowers, you can make shelf liner flowers. So I bought a bunch of it to make shelf liner flowers that I did for forever. I still make them sometimes. Okay, so that left another cool texture. And let me make sure you guys are seeing these textures. Yeah, you guys are seeing them. Cool. Nah, I'm good. I was gonna come in closer, but you know, I wanna make sure you guys are you're seeing the whole thing. Okay, this is another really cool shelf liner. This is also from Dollar Tree, and this one has, you see I've used it a lot of times. It's these little squares. So I just go like this. And we really don't care. We just want to make marks. We're trying to create interest. Right? So look how much interest we already have. I mean, oh my gosh. We have 2 layers deep of collage bits. And now we have all of this texture we're creating with mark makers. That's what I call this, mark makers. Even when you're using stamps or you're using stencils, those are just, it really, for background, it's just mark makers. We're just getting a little fancy when we all decide to buy stamps, which, I mean, you guys know me, I love to buy stuff. So, but the lesson here is that you don't need to. And actually, your project is going to come out even more original, because you're using all these things from around your house that everybody else isn't using. So, all right. This is interesting. I got this from Dollar Tree, and I bought it by accident. It's a little plastic piece that a soap sits on, and it makes some really cool little marks. And I was going to take it back because I wasn't going to take it back because it's only $1. But it wasn't what I needed. It didn't work in the bathroom the way I wanted it. And I looked at it, I went, ooh, that's a good mark maker. So I kept it. And I really like it. It just makes all these little small dots, which I think is really cool. Okay, so we're done with that. And do I want some big splotches with this big bubble wrap? So I had the smaller wrap. This is the big bubble wrap. I don't know. I've never used it. So let's try it. Just a second. I definitely have to dab off excess on that. Is it going to leave anything? You know what, you guys? Well, let's see. Oh yeah, it makes a mark. You have to kind of dab off the excess, or it just makes a big splotch. So really make sure that you dab it off. I'm not really liking that much, so I'm gonna just throw that away. But I tried it. So look around your house for different things that you can make marks with. You can make marks with so much stuff. If I had a Q-tip, oh, I do have a Q-tip. You can make a mark with a Q-tip. Let me grab one. I have them right here. I was trying to make sure I remember to use those. And these are some different Q-tips. See these right here? Aren't those different? So let's just dip in, and we'll make some little dots. Dip into the purple and do some purple dots here and there. And we'll do some magenta dots. And you may have the other type of regular Q-tips, use those. No right or wrong. I don't have very much marks over here, so let's get some marks going right there. Okay, love it. Okay, so we have all of these marks now, and just a second, guys. I don't want to waste this paint, so just a minute. I'm going to turn that over so I don't make a mess, but I'm going to save this paint, so just a second while I do that. Even with just using some, 50-cent cheap acrylic paints, well, this is $1.99. Regardless, I don't like to waste paint. I don't care how much it costs or doesn't cost. No sense in wasting if you don't have to. So, just a second while I pick up this paint. And if I don't do it now, the paint will dry up. I'll forget about the paint. Oh, actually, you know what? Well, okay, it's okay. I need to use this paint that's here, but I'll just take up this bit. I forgot I'm going to use this again here in a second. So I'll leave that other bit that I was cleaning up. And actually, I need a little bit more purple pizzazz back on my thing because I'm going to use this again. I forgot. Okay, almost forgot. All right, but anyway, that's still a good lesson. When you can, scoop up your paint, put it back in the bottle so you don't waste it. All right, so we're going to get our blow dryer back on and we're going to dry this whole thing. Here we go. You guys, I'm going to go ahead and pause my camera because this is going to take a minute for me to dry all this. So I don't want you guys to have to sit here and watch me draw paint for this long. So let me pause it and then we'll be right back. All right, you guys, we're back. All right, so this is nice and dry now. So I'm going to take 1, 2, 3 baby wipes. And the reason I'm using baby wipes is because with acrylic paint. So I'm going to dip my baby wipe in acrylic paint. And what that does is when you use it like this, you can still see through it. It's like it colors the paper, but you can still see, it keeps it translucent. That's the word I'm looking for. So it keeps it translucent so you can still see all the yumminess beneath. So you can see all the layers still. Okay. And this piece is coming up here. And I think it'll be cool just to tear it because something else cool will come up. So if that happens to you where like something's not glued down really well, rip it off and see what happens and see if you like what's ripped off. Okay, where did I just put the blue? Okay, here it is. All right, so now we're gonna go into, we'll go into this color here. I'm gonna have to get some more of this color on here. Okay. And I like to go right into the other color right next to it and blend it together. It'll make another color, which will be cool. Oh, this is starting to look really cool. And if you feel like you don't have it deep enough, just keep adding. And then let's add this purple color right into here. Let me grab some more purple. A little more purple pizzazz here. I even love the name of that, purple pizzazz. I love purple. I think the color purple is just gorgeous. And then we're going to end it with this color here, this magenta. Oops. Okay, I need to do something to break that up right there because that's too much of the same color there. I lost focus right there. Okay. What do I need to do? We'll add a little bit more blue right into here. So that blends in there. And we'll add a little bit more blue here. And a little bit more magenta there. So this, and more purple here. So you're playing with things until you like them. I want a little bit more deeper purple here. Okay. And I think that looks good. Okay. So there's not that much paint left here, so I don't have to worry about wasting. I used pretty much all of it. Let me get a baby wipe for my hands. You guys, baby wipes are the magic in the craft, in your art studio space or your craft room. You can clean your hands really quickly. You can use them for techniques. I say they're vital. Especially when you're using messy stuff, you know, like this. You just really need to be able to wipe your hands and everything else. Okay. So this is looking really cool. Let's turn on the dryer again and dry this. This won't take long, so I won't really pause it because this won't take too long. Okay, so I'm liking this, but I want to bring it back a little bit. I know we brought it forward, we're bringing it back. So we're going to take our gesso again with a baby wipe so we don't cover up too much. But this is just to cut it back here and there, and it's going to make it look more magical, in my opinion. So, thanks. I think I can work out of the lid here. Am I getting out? I don't have enough on there. Okay. So, I just want to just cut back a little bit here and there, just to bring it. I think when you do this and you bring it back into the background a little bit, it also adds a little bit of mystical magicalness to it. And you guys know my motto. I'm always trying to create something mystical and magical, and you guys are like, we know, yada yada yada. And if you really want to cut it back, use just a dry towel. So that's what I'm going to do here. There we go. I'm just using a dry paper towel because I really want to do some more major covering up, but not too much. There we go. Look how more magical that looks and more mystical. Love that. Okay, so again, let's take a wet baby wipe to some of the areas here. I'm going to do it right down the middle here. Okay, so that cuts that back there a little bit. Now let's get a little more intense with our cutting back, cutting it back, and let's use a dry paper towel. So wet paper towel will just cut it back a little bit and add some mist to your project. Taking the white paper towel is really going to give a little bit more coverage. It still adds that mystical, magical look, but it does a little bit more coverage. Oh, love it. Look what this has done. This has just made it just, oh, yummy, in my opinion. Now, some of you guys might have liked the way it was before, and you're like, you ruined it, and you like it more vibrant like that, then don't do what I'm doing. But it's another technique. So, absolutely loving this. I'm going to come in a little closer so you guys can see how this is looking. See how cool that is? How much texture and just yumminess we have going on. Okay, so all this we're creating with technique, cheap acrylic paint, and stuff around the house. Awesome, huh? Okay, the next thing, let's dry this. More drying time. It won't take long, just a second. All right, I'm going to show you guys two different things you can do. I'm going to do, the one I'm going to do is this. You can either, at this point, splatter on some black splatters, or if you do have a script stamp, you can use your script stamp. You guys know I love putting this on every piece I have. But if you don't, just splatter some black splatters on. That could be another option if you don't have the black script stamp. But if you've been watching my channel for a while, you guys know I talk about this, and you're like sick of hearing about it, and you probably went out and bought yourself one of these. This is worth buying. I've used it over and over. They're not cheap. They're about $15. Hobby Lobby, Michael's, Joann's, they pretty much all have them. Use a coupon. Then you're at least buying for $7. But you use it over and over and over. And I'm talking about using stuff from around your house. When you do buy stamps or you buy stencils, they are well worth it when you do buy some, because there's something you can use over and over and over and over and over. So, they almost become free because you get to use them so much. And I really think, I don't know why, but I really think the script stamping adds some really beautiful magic to your piece. I think black splatters would do the same thing. So, definitely, if you don't have the script stamp right now and you want to do something like this, just bust out some black acrylic paint, add a little water, use a toothbrush, a fan brush, a paintbrush, and make some splatters. And that's going to give you the same effect. I do think it's more magical with the script. That's why this is one tool I just highly suggest if you do mixed media that you get. But you guys already know this. If you've been watching my channel, you're like, we know, Angela, we know. All right, I'm just going to finish cleaning off my stamp on this because that's how I clean off my stamp. Oh, I just love this. I think this looks awesome. Okay, so put that away. I think in about 5 minutes, this is gonna cut off, you guys. Yeah, in about 2 minutes, this is gonna cut off. So I'm gonna continue going. Just go ahead and go to the next video, okay? When this one cuts off. Because every 30 minutes, my camera doesn't cut up, my phone doesn't cut off, but it just starts a new video. So just go to the next video. Okay, so after this, we are doing what? White splatters. So the way I'm doing these white splatters is the same way you do the black splatters. So do your black splatters or do your script. And you still, if you do black splatters, we're still going to do white splatters on top of the black splatters if you do those instead of the stamp. Instead of the script stamp. So the order would be script stamp and then fairy dust your piece, which is just white splatters. Or it'll be black splatters and then white splatters. And white splatters, I like to call it fairy dusting. And I think it's cool because I hear other people now saying, oh, I love how you fairy dust the piece. They're calling it fairy dusting too. So let's get some white paint out. What the hell happened to my... Oh, okay. I had my iPad right here, and it slipped down in this little crevice. Oh my goodness, if I wouldn't have seen it slip down there, I could never see my iPad again. Okay, anyway. What am I doing? All right, so there's some white. Now, this is still cheapy white acrylic paint, Apple Barrel. At Walmart, they have them for 75 cents a piece, or $1.99, I think, for the big kahuna. And I like to buy the big kahuna for $1.99 because I use white paint all the time, and then I don't have to buy it all the time, so that's why you guys are seeing me with that big one. I buy my black in the same one, too, for $1.99 at Walmart. It really, okay, I gotta get some water. It really is your best deal for acrylic paints. And it's called Apple Barrel. It's really your best deal for acrylic paints, unless you catch Michael's sale where they have them 3 or 4 for $1. That really is your best sell. So, I'm just looking for my brush for my splattering. I guess I can use this. I do love this. Let me show you 3 things that I like to use for splatters. You can use a fan brush. You can use, this is, you can use a toothbrush, but this isn't a toothbrush. This is for your eyebrows, to shape your eyebrows. This is another good one. And then just a stiff paintbrush is really good. You can even use a brush that's not that stiff. So you can use a regular paintbrush. But different ones are going to give you different thinness and thicknesses and different sizes of splatters. Or let's call them what I like, fairy dust. So here we go. Let's fairy dust the piece. In my opinion, this is what really adds the magic to your piece. Oh my God, I love it. Look how pretty. And you guys know I am so stuck on these colors. I always choose these colors. But I also do like a lot of like browns and like sagey greens and stuff. And rust. So I'm going to try to choose those colors next time. Because I do love that color combination too. Really just as much. I just get stuck on these colors. Okay, so we fairy dusted the piece. Just a second, you guys. I hear my damn Alexa going off in the other room. And it's been going off for a while. So let me just yell at her to turn her off. Alright, so we're to here with that. I think it's looking so mystical. Okay, just a second. I'll be right back.